All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it. Did a little live stream earlier, our AMA, but we gotta keep grinding on the video dev docs part now. I don't feel very good. I had a really bad chocolate cake from Costco. It wasn't very good. So before we get going, let's just shout out to our best-selling course, the 100 Front-End Interview Questions Challenge, which you guys are eating up and loving. And you know what? Let me share a private message. I'm not going to tell you who it's from because it is a private message, but I want to read something to you real quick about what this course did for a young lady. So, this young lady said, "Thanks. I did your course over the weekend and landed my first proper front-end dev job on Monday. Thank you. My interview wasn't technical, but they loved the way I explained the problem solving and processes. Your course really helped me come across well, focus on what I know, and express honestly what I don't know yet, but want to learn." So pretty excited to hear that for this young lady, and really did exactly what the course is supposed to do. So if you guys are interested in checking this course out, you can get it for $9.99 in the description below. We quite literally are changing lives with this course. Changing lives. All right, so we're at a kind of a cool little spot where we have the bulk of our API set up. We just need to now connect it. So I'm going to try to put about an hour in connecting it in our video docs here. So let's see, ng update. See what it says. There might be some. It's been a minute since we've updated. So ng update. We'll check our dependencies and see if we need to update anything, basically. So let's go ahead and we'll do ng update at Angular/CLI. Whenever it's been like a week or two, I like to update our dependencies. Makes my life easier. You get the latest, the greatest. Let's see if this will do it. All right, it looks like it's not going to be an easy update, so we'll come back to it. We'll just do a fresh install. I have not heard of the word chur. Nope. Let's go ahead and launch our test here. And then we'll go over here. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. 7 p.m. start. So launch our test down at the bottom. Oh. Why did CD video. Now we go npm start. All right, cool. Oh man, so tired. But I told myself I took 3 days off because of the family. We gotta hop into it. Oh man. All right. So let's talk about something real quick about the home page. So there's such a thing as too dynamic. What I mean by that is like these coming up dynamically or like from an API. I don't even think we need that. So what I'm thinking is that instead, that looks good and whatnot. What I'm thinking is that instead, I might just keep these hard coded, and then if it's an HTML or CSS, we'll put coming soon or something. we could even take that out for now. So let's go to our so in our app we have our components, we have our side nav, and here that's our logo, and then we have category HTML, category CSS. So I'm gonna gut this out for now. And that should be fine. Alright, cool. We just got one category, but it's just a start. And we can do the same thing for the home page if we wanted. So let's go to home. So maybe does that look like it's not centered? Oh, because this is a grid. I see. So let's go to our main categories. This is the grid gap, I should say. So even though we don't have grid items, CSS Grid will actually put the grid gap on there. Cool. And I honestly think we're going to do a better job of... I'd love to visit New Zealand at some point in time. But yeah, so I think we're going to redesign this homepage. But what I have to do is I have to get this out in like a working state so people can see what it is, so that I can... I can actually get something out on the market. So they'll give me API keys. So that's sort of what the game plan is right now. My music died. There it goes. All right. I don't necessarily want to put a coming soon for that. So let's just go ahead and put a router link on this. All right. Cool. So that's good. Oh, I did want to add a podcast page. So as you don't know, I'd launched the podcast with Eric. So we don't yet. We sort of have an about page, but it's not done. We don't have a support. We don't have a contact. But we'll leave that there. I do plan on having one eventually. Now, I wonder if we should have this podcast go to like its own podcast page. For now, let's just do this. I want my own podcast page. All right, cool. I'm gonna come back to this, but right now I want this to go. So all that's good. All right, coolio. Now that we've done that, let's actually do what we set out to do. This needs to be all fixed. Uh, all right. So I think we can delete all this. So I originally did this, but we put all of this information into the API. So we don't expose our API key that way. So let's go ahead and delete our services folder. Go to shared module, delete this. All right, cool. Launch that back up. I know you can't find it. I deleted it. Oh. What you're working on? Right now it's sort of a two-pronged thing. We are working on. Yeah, we are working on getting our API integrated, as well as just cleaning up some things that are half baked. So some of the stuff in here got sort of deleted. So we're cleaning up a little bit. It is going to cause some of our stuff not to work properly, right? So you can see here, we're hard coding some of this and no data. Basically, the problem is I need to put ads on here. I need to get something up so they can see what I'm trying to do with the site. That's the gist of it. So, cleaning it up a little bit. All right, so we're JavaScript data here. I don't think we use this. All right, so let's try to remember what our API call looked like. Oh yeah, I gotta start it up. Alright, so let's watch you on. Cool. Alright, so there goes that. Now if I do this. Excellent. Cool. So you can see we sort of here's our playlist. Playlist ID. Why did that return anything? Whatever. Alright, so let's start here. We have our description, we have our idea, we have our category. Alright, there's no category. I need to delete that. Let's do this real quick. So update. Oh, I gotta attach the API key. That's fine. Alright. So when we get something by ID, we want to get our label. Alright, so let's see here. Where do we call category service? It'd actually be a category service. Alright, here we go. So category ID, which right now is going to be JavaScript. I wonder if we can define like a secondary key. So this is what I'm thinking, like so when we console.log category ID, I think what that's going to return is just our route, if I remember correctly. Cannot read property tab containers undefined. You're looking to transition from React to Angular. Any things I should watch out for or be mindful of? You should definitely look into making sure you fully understand Typescript. That'd be my advice to you. Alright, yeah, just like that. Alright, so I think that's okay to search by label. The labels aren't going to change. It's kind of a hack. What if we added a field called friendly ID to our schema? Like we have our Mongo ID, but then we have like simple ID. Is that sort of a strange idea? I think it's fine. So let's go ahead and change our schema here. And then we're going to have a simple ID, which will be a string. And we go to our category model. Alright, so now if we do this, it doesn't have it because the data is corrupted, but if we were to update it, use TypeScript through React. Alright, are you familiar with the concept of abstraction or dependency inversion or solid principles? Because Angular is very big on sort of the object-oriented programming approach. I was pleasantly surprised by one of my teammates when I asked if they understood what abstraction was, and they said yes, so I was like, dope. Alright, alright. We'll come back to that in a second. So, let's go ahead and our constructor here. We're going to use public HTTP type HTTP. Oh. And you know what? Let's do this. Let's go to shared. We're going to create our own HTTP here. The reason for it is we want to, a couple things. One, we want to be able to abstract it and mock it relatively easily, and we also want to be able to create a wrapper around the HTTP client, because in our application, I think what we're going to want to do is I think we're going to just like create a little ternary to depend on if we're on production to use the production link. If we're not, use everything else. So all right. All right now, Tito. Now let's look at our Angular JSON. All right, so this file replacement should work just fine. So we go to, let's see. All right, Tito. All right, so you see how this says production false? Essentially, this is going to get swapped out when we ship a prod build. So we'll do environment.production. Then we want to use that looks kind of gross. Let's in our constructor, let's do this. We're gonna create a public HTTP type HTTP client. Cool. Can we not get that on one line? Ugh. How many hours do I think I've spent on this project so far? I've been doing the majority of it live. With that being said, there's been a lot of like Ricky's been doing some UI UX stuff with me after the fact where we clean some stuff up. And there's some you have like some overhead and all that sort of stuff. But let's see, this is episode 31, and minus the last few, they've been 2 hours apiece, so that's at least 60. So we're probably around 65 hours and live streams, and probably another 10 to 20 outside of it. So we've really been hammering away at it. We're getting pretty close to where we can get something out, though. Minus the fact I have all this content. So I think by the end of the year, I'll have something that I can proudly call a strong beta, and with JavaScript fully supported in terms of video content and whatnot. So, all right, so let's see if we stop this. Yeah, so and no problem. I think this is one of the things. So live streaming, building a production application will be one of those items that is not only great for the YouTube, and like not because a lot of people are gonna watch them, but it'll be probably some of the best content out there for people who really want to learn what it's like to build an application, like a professional application. But it's one of those items that I'll be very proud of, because I fully plan on making a video 2 years from now saying something along the lines of, remember that time I built a startup live on YouTube? And now I'm making $10,000 a month or something stupid? One day. That'd just be the ultimate. I'll go write some salty letter to all the companies that rejected me and people who said I was going to be a failure for dropping out of school. Dedicate this app to them. Okay. Cool. So we created our base. And the reason we did that is I didn't want to have to keep setting this update base here. We still have access to our HTTP client. It's going to take our constructor. Actually, I take it back. I don't even need to do this. Why did I do this? Well, no, I needed that. One day soon, baby. One day soon. All right, so HTTP. We wanted the HTTP service. Excuse me. Actually, what we wanted was the HTTP service. Cool. And now say this dot h. What? Here becomes the problem now. is I don't want to have to go and create a get, a put, a post, and a delete that just wraps this, because that's what it's looking like I'm going to have to do here in a second. I could just do a base without the HTTP client. Something like this. That doesn't sound too bad. If I create... No, if we go to HTTP service, if I do that, then we do if this was, so that's a hard question to answer, Barry, because all right, so we're gonna do something slightly wonky, but the reason for it is there's gonna be some additional HTTP service. So right now our constructor is really just gonna be setting a string. That's okay. Cause I don't feel like mocking out all of HTTP client. So what would a project this size take? Depends who's on your team. A project like this could take me 160 hours on my own. But maybe 200 hours on my own of actual like coding, so probably like 3 months. I'm gonna rename this HTTP util. I normally try to avoid names like util, but the fact that it's a specific util, I'm okay with it. I've decided. Yeah, I'm actually gonna name this a utility. I'm not one of the, I hate people who spell shit out. Who don't spell shit out, I should say. So there's it depends on the company. So honestly, for something like this, 3 people would be enough. You would need a designer, front end and a back end, and then you need a project manager and a business analyst typically. But knowing how companies, so more likely than not, the average company would do something like this where they would want, I say, okay, well, with these couple devs, and that when I say 3 months for an average team, I'm counting in the fact that there's going to be meetings, requirement gathering, all that sort of stuff that goes along with it. So but a lot of companies probably would want something out quicker. And so what they would do is they would hire a ton of people to work on it. So they say, how many people do you need? 2 to 3. Well, we want it by then. And they would say something like, well, we need it by this date. And then you say, well, we can't give it to you. So they would hire 3 times as many people as you would say would be optimal for the project. And then what would end up happening is that it would kill the project, make it even go slower, because you're writing over each other and people are... It's sort of counterintuitive. So if you've ever heard of the mythical Manmonth, it's based off of that, where essentially there's a diminishing returns, and to a point where you start having actual issues with too many people. So, yeah. I'm gonna turn the AC on. It's getting a little hot in here. Now, the way I explain it to the business is that businesses, especially ones that are large and have money, they just think they can throw cash at problems. And this is a universal problem amongst businesses. This isn't like it's only a problem, my work or your work or this company, that company. Businesses in general are used to getting what they want, and that's okay. Okay, you can see I'm just hacking this thing apart. And so when I sit with businesses, and someone asked this in the last live stream, and I remember thinking that was a good question, and I never answered it. But someone asked if it's important for people to know. If it's important to know business. And the answer to that is it's important to be able to speak business. And so you need to be able to talk with the business and deal with the business. And because you're on the same team, but oftentimes they're not as technical. Even if they used to be, they're not as much so as you will be. And you need to be able to explain things to them. So when companies are like, let's just throw more resources at it, and there's a diminishing return to the point where it can cause issues, I like to cite the mythical Manmonth. And so like there's a whole study based on this, and you can do more research, but I basically break it down in its most simplistic form, where I try to get them to understand that what they're trying to do is equivalent to a mother making a baby in 9 months. One mother, one baby, 9 months. And what businesses like to do is they like to do 9 mothers, one baby, 1 month. And that it doesn't work that way. And you're actually just going to, increase your costs and cause issues along the way. And so you have to be able to speak sort of business at the end of the day. Hey, Tito. A stinker. He's been trying to jump in my lap, but it's just not about that life right now. Sorry, buddy. Will I ever try to up my math skills? My math skills are fine. But no, I don't think I'll ever go into data science. The only reason I would go into data science would be if I wanted a larger paycheck. And honestly, there's much easier ways for me to get a larger paycheck than going into data science. Hey, Tito. Buddy. Oh, also, someone asked about how many people you need someone to create the content. So that'd be a major job. A large portion of this is creating content. There'll be equally as many hours creating content as there will be. You would need a developer to do it in this particular application, so it wouldn't be cheap. You couldn't farm it out. But yeah, so if I wanted to increase my salary, I would just go about. Here's the thing: is if I want to, I think PwC will most likely be the last company I ever work for, in a sense of I am ready to. Like I'm very content. I would like much more, so to do something like build projects and go from there. I really have no interest in let's see. Thanks for streaming, no problem, man. Like one thing that people have to realize is that you have to figure out where you want to put your time and where you want to put your energy. And could I go and learn data science? Yeah. It might take me 6 months to, I don't know, 2 years. But do I want to learn data science? Not particularly. Not what I meant to do on that. All right. No provider for a HTTP utility service. All right. How's the web app coming along? It's coming, man. We're getting to a point where I'm connecting the API. So the API is 90% done, minus adding a few keys and fields and things like that, and then some data. So it's getting there, man, without a doubt. I wasn't able to work on it this weekend because I had family over. But hey, Hermes, how you doing? But yeah, so like right now what we're doing is we're eliminating some of the stuff that didn't get quite done. We're cleaning up a little bit because I have to get it up here so some of these APIs will let me use it. And then I am going to be making some of the secondary pages over the next few days. I have to design what they're going to look like. And what I've been doing right now is just getting the HTTP service up and running. Oh my God. I put the wrong freaking port in here. I'm getting a course. I'm getting a self-incriminating course there. Feel like you're slacking? It's yeah, man. It's I tell you what, I feel like I'm slacking sometimes, and I'm putting in ridiculous amounts of time. Alright, cool. We have our course set up. Alright, so I think this should be good now. Monk category service. Did I put that there? Did I really? Can I read property base of null? No. So the cool thing about software development, if done right, is that it takes a lot of upfront work. Right, you got to build the structure, and then maintaining it, if you built it right, is simplistic. Hey, Gator, how you doing, big boy? What are you doing? There's no bottles for you up here. Get up here, buddy. Hey. What are you doing? What are you doing? Puppy break. How long have we been going so far? We've been going about an hour. I don't know where my OBS went. All right, but yeah, so all right. So where were we? So if I remember correctly, this should just go. Now this should work. I messed up. I didn't read the air fully. So my chorus is all. I had it right the first time. I think that will solve that. There we go. Alright. Silly me. Category is There we go. All right, cool. So you can see we're getting our 4 APIs currently from localhost, but it should work just fine to get it from our production application down the road. And the way that we could test this real quick is we can just go ahead and copy this or cut that and just put production base. And we should. Oh. Wait, no. What? Also, this should be HTTPS // Okay, it looked like it just got stored randomly. Okay. Which means we have to go again to fix my course URL. But you can see here in the course policy that this would work just fine. But we're not calling this is sync, so we're calling it from this API. We're not. We're calling from localhost 4200. Oh yeah. Let's actually copy this because that was a good catch. Okay, cool. So we have our base. We have our initial get category call going. Alright guys, I think this is a good spot to end it on. I don't feel like we just sort of dug around a little bit, but we did create our utility service. We're starting to create our actual service call itself. It got connected. We fixed some bugs in our service model. And let's see here. Yeah, I think it's a good spot to stop. So let's go ahead and do that. Do a little commit get stage. Category added HP util service. Category service influx. Alright, so that's pretty good. But we'll leave it there. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Check out some of my courses. How do I get this video up? Like, I can't figure out where this thing went. Somehow this went below the window screen. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye.